Hello, YouTube. Well, I messed up again today. I got to work on time, barely, and I'm walking in the gate and realized I was wearing flip-flops. Yeah, some days, wow, that maneuver that the guy in the little white shit box did to get around the van was lame. I mean, granted, the van should have probably been approaching this freeway entrance faster, but yeah, that was a crappy maneuver. Anyways, I was saying, yeah, I just some days I'm just not thinking very clearly. I don't know. I don't know why I forgot to put my shoes on. And it's little things like this that really make me wish that I had a woman I live with who helped me out with stuff like that. But it can't be Priscilla. Not the way she uses sex as a weapon and gets me excited and denies me. Not the way she's just an inadequate housekeeper. I acknowledge I'm an inadequate housekeeper, but two inadequate housekeepers just make for a really disgusting household. I don't know that I'm ever going to find anybody else that's interested. I'm still pretty solidly 2 months behind. I've been staying steadily at 2 months behind posting my vlog for a little while now, but 2 months behind in posting the videos, and I've had a few videos in the last week that I posted from mid-August that, combined with what's going on with her now, really are hitting home. Just like, I just gotta break away from it. But it's hard to do with her living so close, and both of us preferring to hang out at the same bar and having so many of the same friends, and then so many things like we're all we have to rely on, whether it's her relying on me for rides to medical appointments, or as in the case of last weekend, me relying on her to take care of my cats while I was out of town. And of course, let's not forget the whole dispute over whose cats they are, which, I don't know, seems like an open and shut thing considering how long they've been at my place. And she hasn't, but I know she doesn't see it that way. Did I say the date and the time? I don't think I did. It's been quite some time since I've shot a vlog. It's Tuesday, October 17th, 2:08 p.m. Still 2023. I had this whole series of videos I did, I want to say last Friday, where I was getting out a lot of stuff that was on my chest about issues with Priscilla and just how much she fucked up my head with the 2 nights she stayed at my place the weekend before, which were Friday night and Sunday night, and then she kind of had me thinking she was showing up on Saturday night, and then did, and just the whole physical teasing and getting me so sexually worked up with foreplay. I mean, doing foreplay that on a scale of 1 to 10 was a solid 10, and then just leaving me hanging. And that's fucked me up mentally and emotionally to the point I've been really dysfunctional since. I mean, I took the trip to see the eclipse with my best friend Corey, and I was just in such a bad place emotionally and mentally. I probably was just a complete buzzkill for him. At the point he might have enjoyed the trip more if he didn't bring me. So the eclipse was cool. It wasn't the type of eclipse I was imagining it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just like the eclipse that we went to, and I don't know why. It's just, not paying attention, I guess. That information was readily available. I was thinking it was going to be it did, you know, resulting in several minutes of just, holy shit, it's dark in the middle of the day, what's happening right now, which we experienced in Wyoming. Some of the things that we experienced definitely happened. The tint of the sunlight changing, the shadows becoming bizarrely out of focus, the drop in temperature, while it was not the same kind of drop in temperature, not the same kind of drop in temperature that we experienced in Wyoming, where it was almost instantaneous, like sharp drop in temperature after it had been cooling off gradually for a bit. But yeah, once the moon was completely in front of the sun, or how do I say it? It wasn't completely in front of the sun. It didn't block the sun like the other one. But once all of the moon was in front of the sun, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Which, of course, wasn't visible with the naked eye. I had to watch it with the special super dark glasses. And fortunately, Corey snagged me another pair, because I never did manage to find my pair from when we went to Wyoming. So thank you for that. Yeah, once that happened, there was the temperature did drop pretty rapidly, and it was pretty chilly as well. I mean, the one in Wyoming was in August, so of course it was closer to noon, so it was fairly warm when the eclipse happened. This one occurred around 9 in the morning ish, 8 in the morning, somewhere in there. So it was and northern Arizona, around Four Corners, it was chilly. It was pretty chilly already, and yeah, it got before the sun started to fill back in and it started to warm back up. It got pretty darn cold. All right, I'll be right back with more. I just gotta run in and get my damn shoes. I can't fucking believe I forgot that shit. And I was gonna actually be on time, and I haven't been on time much lately. I've been pretty consistently, like 10 minutes late every day. Not that anybody gives a shit around there, but I care. It bothers me to be that inconsistent and to be not timely. All right, it's now 2:22 p.m. I'm really not happy with myself, having got all the way to work and not even had my shoes on. I don't, and I should probably always keep a pair of shoes and work socks in the car, because I know I regularly forget shit like that. Oh well, too late now. At least I should be thankful I work at the sort of job where it's probably going to just completely go unnoticed I even showed up late. So I should be working with Steve tonight. Working arrangement has been changing a lot lately, and not even sure where to go about explaining that. And since I haven't been vlogging every day, of course now my memories of what happened on what days are pretty confused. So let me try to take things in chronological order. So that's how my brain generally works the best. From where I left off with the last video that I shot on Friday, the night before oh, my fucking transmission's slipping. There it goes. The night before the eclipse. Eclipse was Saturday morning, by the way. Oh, and by the way, here's a picture of it. Corey took this one. It looks pretty amazing. He also tried to shoot some video with his GoPro, but he said it just came out completely unusable. He was trying to do a time lapse, but he had it basically zoomed out at its farthest away setting. It captured everything. It was so small that when you tried to zoom it in to see it, there was just like no usable detail to be had there, and that sucks. I can relate to it because I've certainly had some things that I've mentioned in my vlog and when I've gone through later editing. Oh, by the way, stop sign here, completely knocked down. There's no stop sign. We're stopping where there's not a stop sign. Of course, it would be unsafe to just blow through this intersection, but But I do think at this point I can technically legally treat it as a yield sign, or as if there was a yield sign there, because there's no stop sign present. It's actually on the ground. It's just laying there. It's been laying there for a couple of days now. Oh, my transmission is not doing good today. You know what? It's been really good lately, and I almost feel like that's a heat-related thing, because it's been hot as hell the last few days. In fact, yesterday, Phoenix, with Sky Harbor Airport being the place where they take the official temperature, beat the record high temperature for yesterday's date by a pretty large margin. I'm not sure actually what the temperature got up to yesterday, but it was well over 100. Which, while that isn't shit on what we went through here in July and August, July being like the hottest July on record ever in Phoenix by a long shot. So many temperature records broke in July. Although I believe we broke several daily high temperature records in August as well. For it to be over 100, I don't know if it's over 100 right now, I haven't been paying attention. I would imagine it's probably a little shy of 100 right now, but for it to be having high temperatures so well over 100 in the middle of October is just unheard of. It's like this is the summer that just absolutely will not end. So I wasn't wanting to talk about the weather, but you know, it's kind of hard to ignore that in a car that has borderline useless air conditioning. I'm trying to get back to where I was Friday. When I ended that last vlog I shot, I had a whole lot of loose ends and I was trying to tie them up. I was going to shoot another video and I just didn't. I kept telling myself, oh, I don't want to shoot another vlog and go current without tying up those loose ends, but those loose ends became more and more of a distant memory. And I'm like, well, I'll just go back, I'll watch it and remember where I left off. Yeah, I never got around to doing that. As I recall, one of the big loose ends was why I had gone to my clinic and what like motivated me and reminded me I needed to go to my clinic to get my transit pass. Because that was definitely one of my bigger accomplishments on Friday. So not long after I woke up, and I don't remember what time I woke up, but I know I've really been trying to take all my extra time and just try to catch up on my vlog, which is like 2 months behind right now. At one point I was a little less than 2 months behind, but now I'm solidly at 2 months behind, and I'm having an issue with getting things posted right now. That's probably going to push me a little more than 2 months behind. And when I was up heading out to northern Arizona, I was less than 2 months behind. But then the whole time we were up, after we got north of the Flagstaff area, I had no service, and that was, the middle of the night. I had no service whatsoever, no connection to the internet, until I got back into the Flagstaff area the following afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and we never did get anywhere in Flagstaff where I had usable. I think I did manage to upload one unedited video very slowly using the hotel Wi-Fi. We stayed at a little hotel near where the western chunk of Route 66 splits off of the main chunk of Route 66, right where Route 66 turns, goes underneath the railroad tracks, and then heads south to the point where it turns into I-17, but north of there. Yeah, we went into Bun Huggers. Their burgers just as good as I remember them, but holy shit, have the prices gone through the roof, and I feel like shrinkflation is happening, because I remember those burgers being pretty good sized, and the burgers we bought, or the burger I got, which was a Big Hug, which I remember being a pretty sizable, like Whataburger sized burger, was just this little tiny thing. So yeah, kind of mixed feelings about Bun Huggers in 2023. At one point we went to the bar. I did see they had Wi-Fi, and granted I could have asked for the password, but it was passworded. I was just not in a really good headspace. I haven't been in a good, to be honest, I have not been in a good headspace since Priscilla stayed the night at my place the Sunday before last. Just what she did to me physically and mentally and emotionally has really, really put me in a bad headspace. And she added to that on Friday night, by the way. And I was supposed to go in chronological order. I really haven't. Did I explain what happened with the mental health clinic? No. Lost track on that. So, woke up working on my blog. I got a call from my case manager reminding me that I have court Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning. It's Tuesday right now. I'm not sure what time. I forget what time. I just want to get there really early. I don't know what I did with my court order. It wasn't in my pocket. I managed to lose that. It's going to be my first appearance in mental health court. The new team of attorneys that was assigned to me, they haven't contacted me. After making it sound like they would be in pretty constant contact with me, they absolutely haven't contacted me at all. So that's a little worrisome. But they have definitely contacted my clinic. Value options, choices, whatever the fuck it's called now. I hate that they've changed names so much because it's made it to where I absolutely cannot remember the name of the clinic now. Other than I knew the clinic was the Mitchell Clinic, but I can't remember what it's called. It's not choices, it's not value options, it's not comp care. Why do things have to change names? It makes it very difficult to learn and remember names when they keep fucking changing. So they've definitely contacted her because she was calling about that. She wanted to know if I would be there, if I wanted her to be there, and I said yes. So apparently that's something they're supposed to do whenever somebody who has SMI and gets services as SMI, when you have court hearings, your case manager is supposed to be there. Now, to be fair, I never told my case manager about my other court hearings. I didn't really know that was something that I was supposed, kind of support service I was supposed to get. So thank God, like, that Mr. Tinker, who is, I don't think my attorney anymore, but he did say we'd kind of keep in touch on this. And at least he recognized that, wow, this is a mental health situation, and I'm coming at it from a different angle, and really need to come at it from a mental health angle. Because the self-defense, in light of all the circumstances, the self-defense angle, which should be solid, like literally, the police, in my opinion, the police charged the wrong person. They should have charged that security guard for threatening me and brandishing a weapon at me. Still, I feel like I should probably pursue that, and I may at a later date. But first I need to deal with what's immediately before me, which are 2 assault charges, one of which Mr. Tinker thinks I have absolutely no way of beating in trial. He said the other ones I can flip up a coin. But he thinks that the mental health angle, and I don't think I ever really vlogged much about this other than just kind of alluding it happened, but the mental health angle, he says, is really significant. And at the mental health court, I think we can kind of draw things out with the mental health court. Hopefully to the point of getting it dismissed, or to the point of the quote-unquote victims, Mr. Aggressive fat-ass security guard, and who I pointed out was fat, whose authority I didn't respect, who couldn't just give me space to unlock my scooter and leave. What an ass. Like, so when I said, what are you going to do if I don't leave right this second? He's like, well, I'm going to call the police. Okay, then fucking call the police, fat ass. But he didn't follow through with what he said he was going to do. Had he just called the police, I would have unlocked my scooter. I'd have been gone. The police would have shown up and been like, what's your deal, dude? And that would have been it. But no, this guy had to get in my face and threaten me with pepper spray. So the other guy's the guy who got struck with a pebble. There's no way that pebble hit him with any kind of force that could have physically hurt him. I don't think he was close enough for that. And again, like, I was not even aware the guy was there. My only concern was dude pointing a weapon at me. If I was a police officer, I'd have qualified immunity. Police officers fucking shoot and kill people that pose no threat, that are running away from them. Well, he had a weapon. He could have turned around and used it. But dude, he didn't. He was running away and you fucking shot him in the back and killed him. Was that necessary? Cops get away with it every day in the United States. It's fucked up. Their defense is always, well, in the moment of danger, when I was perceived that I was in danger, I couldn't analyze absolutely everything. Well, guess what? At the moment when I was in danger, when fucking fat ass was coming at me aggressively with pepper spray, I wasn't able to assess everything either. I'm just trying to defend myself and not get through with pepper spray and try to get back to my goddamn scooter. Oh, so much injustice in this whole situation. So anyway, case manager's gonna be there tomorrow. that's why she called, was talking about that. And I get the feeling that she's been kind of put on blast by the people at the mental health. Oh shit, my thermostat. I was trying to use my air, and now my temperature gauge is up kind of high. So she's going to be there, and that's why that all happened. As for the Priscilla thing, friend Corey showed up at my place, wanted to go by Wander and sing a little karaoke before we left, which seemed like a great idea. I knew Priscilla would be there. I knew that it'd be kind of awkward. I didn't anticipate how awkward it would be. Now, I knew we weren't going to get home until Sunday noon-ish, so I could have put out more food for the cats. They wouldn't have died a day and a half without me putting out fresh food for them. But since Priscilla was there, and she sort of doesn't have the key to the deadbolt, but she has the key to the apartment. As long as I leave the deadbolt open, I figured I could leave the back door like that. And so I asked if she would, and I did, and I asked if she would come over and feed the cats. Kind of perturbed with her because I did buy a brand new thing of cat litter when I went to Fry's, and I think I vlogged about that. I did buy a brand new thing of cat litter, and there's no way she couldn't see it. It was kind of in the way going in the door where the cat bowls are into Lily's room. So she saw the cat litter. I have yet to have a chance to, I haven't had a chance, but I haven't done it, but change out the cat box. Holy shit, so many car carriers trying to come into Avis right now. But yeah, I'm pretty perturbed that she didn't. Pretty perturbed about a lot of things that she did while I was gone in northern Arizona, and of course at this point I don't have time to talk about them. But in a nutshell, in case I never get back to revisiting this train of thought, so while we were at the bar and I was singing, she came up and started playing with one of my nipples and leans in to tell me, "I'm really horny tonight. I was going to give it up to you." And at which point I'm like, you should have thought of that like last week when I was asking for it. Because there was this whole thing, I was going to read the text messages and I didn't, but there was this whole thing, it's actually on Snapchat, and of course it was on Snapchat, so of course now it'd be deleted, so I can't read it anyway. But I forget what the hell she was asking me to come join her and watch some TV shows with her and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, at this point, like, if I go to her place and I hang out, she gets me so sexually aroused and it just leaves me hanging and leaves me frustrated. It's less problematic and less frustrating for me to just fucking avoid her and go home and be home by myself. I know that the XNNX app and some lube in my right hand is not going to let me down and is not going to disappoint me. So yeah, no, at this point, I just don't want to be there and be. That I can't mentally deal with that. I can't physically deal with that. So, oh man, I can smell the car overheated. It does not smell good. So there's that. Well, so she's, and this was going on the week before. I forget which days. It's just, of course, the last week. And I was deliberately taking quite a while to respond to her messages as well, because I'm working on editing my vlogs. And at one point she ends with just the word please and a whole bunch of question marks and a couple exclamation points at the end. Well, which to me was very reminiscent of when she had stayed the night at my place Sunday before last, and it got really physical with me. And I can't really, without it just becoming ridiculously explicit, I can't explain exactly what she did, but there was a lot of body contact. There was pretty much everything but the P and the V, and yeah, I climaxed really hard. I did, but again, foreplay. There was no penetration, so foreplay. At least for me, that equals foreplay. And I was almost instantaneously ready to finish, and she's like, "Well, you did finish." I'm like, "No, I'm not finished. And at this, I got to the point where I'm just like practically begging and saying please, which is, I accept it's not a good look, but I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. So anyway, that was where she was at with her trying to ask me to come spend time with her and watch a documentary with her. And I'm just like, please. And I don't think I responded till like 3-4 in the morning with, yeah, the last time I asked you please, you told me not to beg. And think she responded with that, with point taken. But sure, she didn't seem taken on Saturday night, or Friday night, I mean, over at the Wander Inn, because she's playing with my nipple and telling me how horny she is. And I'm just like, well, I'm leaving, so whatever. Should have thought of that, days ago when you had access to all this. Or and I didn't go into that, but I was thinking, or maybe when you were saying please, maybe instead of saying please, do a little sexting. You know what I like. Send me a short video of showing that you're warming it up for me and let me know, hey, once you get here, it's on. And then we can watch a documentary naked, and maybe do it again after the documentary. But unless it's presented like that, I'm not going. I'm already sexually frustrated to the point where it's making life difficult for me, and no, that's just turning up the heat when I'm already sweating. No. So not gonna lie, I did feel like a power play, being able to just, when she's telling me how horny it is, to basically deny her. So like, nope, we're leaving. We're going to Four Corners to see the eclipse. And she's like, well, why don't I ever get invited to stuff like this? Really? Do I have to answer that question? And I'm thinking to myself, maybe bitch, you should think about why you don't get invited to stuff like this. Clink. There's my temperature change of the metal to the point it's clinking. I did get my engine kind of warm coming here, so I gotta get to work. But yeah, the main thing she did piss me off. Did not change out the cat box. She had all 2 days at my place with access to my place. She could have done that. She thinks she cares about so much the cats that it's in her head they're her cats. Change their fucking cat box then. I mean, shit, she's been saying the whole week before she's going to bring me some kitty litter for them. Well, she didn't. I bought the kitty litter. Use the kitty litter that I bought. You had to step around it to get in there to feed them. Now, while we were texting in the middle of the night as I was driving, as Corey was driving and I was riding on the way up to Flagstaff, I asked her if she took care of her horny problem, and she's like, oh yeah, well, I just rubbed and vibed with Bob, as in battery-operated boyfriend, as in vibrator. It's like, I was like, dang, I was kind of hoping you'd shoot me a video of that. And she didn't even respond to that, so kind of lame. And then later she's texted me the next day in one of those little spots where I got some, I don't know, every now and then we'd get into an area that's a little populated and I'd get a little bit of service, so I could get some text messages through. But she said something like, so she went to my place. I don't know if she rubbed it out at my place or at her place before going to my place. She probably did it on my fucking couch, because I think she went directly from the bar to my place, which I didn't need her to do that. I fed the cats before we left to the bar. But she went to my place, probably rubbed one out on my couch. Didn't shoot me any video, but hey, at least if you're using my place for that, let me see it at a later time. I need to get surveillance cameras in my place for that kind of stuff. I really do. And then she stayed the night. Stayed the night at my place. Well, apparently she didn't come back Saturday night, because when I got home Saturday afternoon, the cats were freaking hungry. They were acting like they hadn't been fed in ages. Of course, to be fair, sometimes they act like that 3 hours after I fed them, so not the most reliable gauge of what's going on with them. But yeah, I'm pretty frustrated. Now I'm getting messages from her of like, oh, you locked the deadbolt. Yeah, I'm home. I can feed the cats now. Thank you. Anyway, I need to get my ass to work. My head's not in a good place, and I just, I'm getting, and I appreciate the support of people in the comments section telling me that are, listen to some of this, telling me it's like, yeah, she's not treating you good enough. You need to just break that off and find somebody that will, not frustrate you like that. But the reality is that there's nobody else interested in me at all, and it sucks. Actually, that's not true. There is one other person that does seem very interested in me, and I'm somewhat interested in her. But she lives an impossibly far distance away from me, and I can't seem to get enough ahead financially to even pay my own bills right now, let alone take a trip to spend any kind of quality physical time with her. And she doesn't drive, so there's no potential of her coming out, spending time with me. So it's kind of a non-issue. She was at least messaging me when I was on this trip, and it did help raise my spirits a little bit. The trip up to Four Corners. By the way, the Four Corners Monument was closed. That kind of sucked. Something about the
Native American tribe that manages it and operates it. It was some kind of a religious holiday or something for them, so they had to shut down, which is a hell of a missed opportunity. I mean, they could have subleased that shit out to somebody else and have them operate it, because there were probably more people wanting to visit Four Corners in a 24-hour period than that monument has ever had.